This is the Biden Family Organization exposed through Hunter's laptop 2020, July 12th, 2022. Just to show you how fucking long they've been dragging this bullshit around.
Hello, this is Rudy Giuliani, back with Rudy's Common Sense.
Is this post-stent?
And today we are going to
keep blathering about something that is going nowhere.
Delve into one of the Chinese transactions.
One of them. All right, let's do it. Hold on one second. Let me move this over here, if I may. All right, here we go.
So that you can get an idea.
Just one. Now it'll be a new one. This is Rudy. We're not going to go back to one of the ones we've covered before. There's tons of stuff on here. And it's all, there's multiple smoking guns. There's no reason to retread the same shit.
Of the incriminating documents that are in this hard drive. Remember, just to put it in context, during the time that Joe Biden was the Vice President of the United States, we now have located 5.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
5 transactions with foreign countries.
All right. This is not fair. This is not, how is this the quality of the attack on the President of the United States? How is this up to the task, Rudy? How is this indicative of the depth of information and the strength of evidence that you have? Seriously.
Which he claimed.
He's holding up a printout, and it's on a piece of stock, on like card stock on the back, but it's the wrong size. So they printed it long ways, and then they wrote, oh God. This is so stupid.
He knew nothing about, which has been disproven by the text messages and emails showing his meeting with the high official of Burisma, which he lied about, and also has been disproven by the sworn testimony of Mr. Bobolinsky, who is a partner in the transaction we're about to describe.
And was kicked out of the company for being a bullshit artist.
And also several other emails and texts.
And summarily lost his investment in a few of the deals because he was considered sketchy.
Show that he had a good deal of familiarity with his son's foreign dealings, but he had more than familiarity with it. He was getting paid part of the money that his son was getting, and that's what we're going to show you here.
Part of the money, yes, because that's what bagmen do.
But let's just...
bagmen just bring, bagmen, I don't know, in the mob, keep 80%. I mean, they're doing all the heavy lifting.
Remind you of the context of this.
Yeah, it's like, dude, get a fucking Pinterest account.
Joe was named the point man in Iraq. His brother James got 1/3 of a $1.5 billion housing contract at exactly that same time.
No, he didn't keep it. He still had to build houses with the money, dummy.
And made a substantial amount of money on that. And that money...
equal to everyone else who also successfully built things there in the green zone.
Was given in part to the vice president.
No, it wasn't.
And in
also gibberish. That's just the assumption. That's the 10% for the big guy. They just are now extrapolating that across the entire fucking family.
Part was used by James to pay for expenses for the vice president and his wife, Jill.
Yes, is this the shutters on the lake house? I mean, the depth of this corruption is insane. Also, hold on. Let's see. This is the Let's look at the closest one to not being okay. This is Biden. This is the kind of stuff that they're doing. Biden Inc. This is from Politico. Ben Schreckinger. This is from, when was this? 2014 or something? Let me get. Over his decades in office, middle-class Joe's family fortunes have closely tracked his political career. The day Biden took over the Paradigm Global Advisors was number one in late summer 2006. Son Hunter and Joe's brother James purchased the firm. On the first day of the job, he showed up with Joe's other son, Bo. Two large men ordered a hedge fund's chief of compliance to fire its president, according to the Paradigm executive who was president. After firing the two large men, escorted the fund's president out of the firm's Midtown Manhattan office, and James Biden laid out his vision for the fund's future. Don't worry about investors, he said. We got people all around the world who want to invest in Joe Biden. This is This is in 2006. At the time, the senator was just months away from both assuming the chairmanship of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and launching his second presidential bid. According to the executive, James Biden made it clear he viewed the fund as a way to take money from rich foreigners who would not legally give money to his older brother's campaign account. We got investors lined up in a line of 747s filled with cash ready to invest in the company. The executive remembers James Biden saying, the guy fired. As this executive recalled, Bo Biden, who was then running for Attorney General of Delaware, turned bright red. He told his uncle, "This can never leave this room, and if you ever say it again, I will not have anything to do with this." A spokesman for James and Hunter said no such episode ever occurred. Bo Biden died in 2015 at 46 years old. But the recollection of the effort to cash in on Joe's political ties is consistent with other accounts provided by other former executives to the fund. Three former Paradigm executives said James and Hunter Biden also sought to capitalize on Joe's strong ties to labor unions in hopes of landing investments from them. Documents submitted as part of a legal dispute over Paradigm's acquisition show James Biden planned to solicit investments from union pension funds. A spokesperson, that's true of all hedge funds. As Joe Biden runs for Democratic presidential nomination, Biden's image is a straight shooting man. The people, however, is clouded by the careers of his son and brother, who have lengthy track records of seeking deals that cash in on his name. There's no evidence that Joe Biden used his power inappropriately or took action to benefit his relatives with respect to these ventures. Interviews, court records, government filings, and news reports, however, reveal that some of the members of the Biden family have consistently mixed business and politics for over nearly half a century, moving from one business to the next as Joe's stature in Washington grew. None of the ventures appear to have been runaway successes, and Biden, I thought they were getting billions of dollars. And Biden's relatives have not been accused of criminal wrongdoing in their dealings. But over the years, several of their partners associated have ended up indicted or convicted. The dealings have brought Joe unwelcome scrutiny and threatened to distract from his presidential bid. Spokesperson for Biden's campaign, Bates, okay, this is from back then. Lobbying report. Within weeks of the, I'm trying to find that's the Paradigm shit. They should get to the Iraq stuff. It's on a scandal play. The hedge fund. Okay, this is the same hedge fund that went away. All right, hold on. Biden's brother to bag. Okay, here you go. This is 2012. Biden's brother to bag. Here you go. This is Iraq Business News. I'm sure this sounds legit. Iraq Business News. Fox Business reports that James Biden, the younger brother of the U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, pictured, is about to land a potentially lucrative contract to build 100,000 homes in Iraq. Since November 2010, James Biden has reportedly been the executive vice president of Hillstone, in which Hillstone International owns a 51% stake, with a group of minority partners, including Biden, holding the rest. Fox's Charlie Gasparino says James Biden got the job despite having little, if any, documented work history in residential construction. David Richter, it's the investment part of it, obviously, that they're interested in. David Richter, the president of Hill International, is reported saying it really helps to have the brother of the vice president as a partner. Please click below to see the Fox Business video. Oh, that's it. Okay. Is about to get that. So Fox Business was saying that. We'll see what the James Biden firm, SRC says this. This is the story, because we're not going to cover all of Rudy's bullshit today. Book bombshell. James Biden's firm got $1.5 billion in government contracts despite zero experience. The money could not have come soon enough, as Hill International was hemorrhaging cash because of assets it lost or was forced to abandon in countries like Libya after the Arab Spring. A firm employing James Biden, that's not quite the same. Okay. The younger brother of the former Vice President Joe Biden, pawn shops in Colorado. A firm employing James Biden, the younger brother of former President Joe Biden, pawn shops in Colorado received more than one. That's the name of the business? pawn shops in Colorado, received more than $1.5 billion in government-backed contracts during the Obama administration. The dovetailing of James Biden's professional life with his brother's political influence is extensively detailed in Profiles of Corruption, Abuse of Power by America's Progressive Elite, a new book by Peter Schweitzer, senior contributor to Breitbart News and president of the Government Accountability Institute. Pronounce that however you would like. In 2010, shortly after in 2010, shortly after a disastrous attempt at running a hedge fund with his nephew, the president of Hailstone International was Kevin Justice, who grew up in Delaware, was a longtime Biden family friend. He was friends with lots of Bidens, especially Joe's son, Hunter and Beau. Under the leadership was likely such projects in mind that Justice headed to the White House. During the visit, Hailstone executive met with Michael Smith, a top aide to the then Vice President Joe Biden. Smith, a fellow Delaware native, was serving as the Vice President's liaison to global government officials and business executives. Although the confines of that meeting have not been made public, the subsequent events seem to imply it was beneficial for both Hailstone and the Bidens. Less than 3 weeks later, Hailstone announced that the Vice President's brother, James, would be joining the firm as an executive vice president. At the age of 22, James Biden was the finance chairman of his then 29-year-old brother's for a Senate seat. 6 months before the James joined, Hailstone firm received a contract to build more than 100,000 homes in Iraq. The deal, which was estimated to be worth over $1.5 billion, part of a larger $35 billion contract awarded to a South Korean company. At the time it went public, both Hailstone and Obama White House denied Joe Biden had played any role. The high-profile failure, though, did not disqualify Hailstone or Hill International from seeking or obtaining other something or other, despite the denial. Okay, this is just, again, who cares? He worked for the company. Even if they hired him just to, to try and ingratiate themselves with Joe Biden, none of it turned out to be graft.
Ukraine was mainly transaction involving Hunter Biden as the bag man. Hunter was hired for a no-show job.
No, he showed up.
And got
they were there.
Paid upwards of about $14 million altogether. And that was as a bribe to Joe in order to
buy absolutely nothing.
Have the case dropped on the crooked company Burisma for Mykola Zlochevsky, a member of Ukrainian organized crime, a fugitive at the time.
Yeah, he left and somebody else took over the company. That was one of the predicates for Hunter being there.
And a man who had stolen $5 billion from Ukraine, which was all forgiven when Joe had the prosecutor fired.
No.
And the president of the country ordered that the case be dismissed. Joe
Yanukovych on his way out the door.
Joe, again, received half of that money at least from Hunter.
So Bagman split it with the boss. Okay.
And by the way, the president of Ukraine received a bribe of between $50 and $100 million. That was Poroshenko, Joe's good friend.
So Yanukovych was the innocent victim, I see.
The Russia deal involved a $3.5 million payment, actually $4 million, when you see two more payments that come in, to Hunter. Some of that going to Joe, according to...
None of it went to Joe. It was invested. That's why the mayor of Moscow's wife is the richest woman in Moscow now. She got it back. They only make money if the money makes profits.
The arrangement we're going to show you.
We've been through this shit again. This is the same shit from before.
In a minute. And that was in order to set up a money laundering operation. And we'll go into detail on that one in a subsequent episode.
What the fuck are you waiting for?
China is the one we're going to go through now, and Kazakhstan was a small payment, $2 million.
Okay. So now Kazakhstan's on the list. I guess because Kazakhstan's on the out and trying to create their own. Isn't that interesting? That Kazakhstan is breaking away from Russian control, doesn't recognize the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. We talked about that this morning with Philip. They're talking about moving away from a super presidential system to a true federalist parliamentary system. And then all of a sudden they make Rudy's list. Huh. He hasn't mentioned Kazakhstan before.
It went through Hunter, half of which went to Joe. So China is the one we're going to discuss now. And China is the big money.
Well, yeah, of course.
There are two
it's fake, but sure.
Main transactions with China. One we've been through many times, and that's the one in which Joe Biden brings Hunter Biden to China with him. Joe is supposed to get us relief from tariffs, and Joe is supposed to get China to back off the islands they had militarized that they dispute with Japan. Joe failed miserably in doing that, but...
Well, we would have had to actually declare war on them to get them to stop.
Hunter got a $1 billion commitment from China, from the Bank of China.
No, he didn't. Rosemont Seneca did.
About 8 days later, and the Bank of China became a partner in his fund called Bohai Harvest. So Bank of China, Chinese government.
I hope he reads the please have the texts around that. We're like, yeah, we can't do business with it if it's Chinese owned by the government.
Government became a partner with Hunter Biden, son of the vice president, with Chris Hines, stepson of the Secretary of State, and a gentleman named
Whitey Bulger's nephew, we know.
Named James Bulger, who ran a company called Thornhill, which was their partner. And that was the nephew of one of the most notorious organized criminals in the United States, Whitey Bulger. And the fourth partner was the government of China. So while Joe Biden was negotiating for the United States of America and failing, his son was a partner with the government of China, and you didn't know that.
Well, I still don't know it because it's actually not true. I mean, it is horseshit. We've covered this before.
We don't know if Obama knew it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
If he did, he kept it from you. If he didn't, probably was the most incompetent president that ever existed in the White House.
Well, he did leave office without 600,000 people being dead because of his inaction on a global pandemic. So there's that.
It would be unthinkable that he wouldn't know.
He'd also got ACA passed, so.
That the son of his vice president was in business with one of our fiercest rivals in the world.
You mean, sorry, our fiercest rivals,
Really?
I have, so.
What was the impression?
I love China.
Really?
I love China. I spent quite a bit of time over there last year.
For what?
Really loved it. Looking at different projects, it's a market that I think we'll be in very soon.
Do you have any plans for China?
We have a lot of plans for China. So we've got an amazing buyer base that's from China originally, that has apartments in our buildings, that use our hotels, that are members of our golf clubs. There's a very, very loyal following base to the Trump name, and so it's just a very logical place for us to be soon. I've been to China many times.
Really?
I have. So.
Only a Democrat can get away with that because of our crooked media. But then when he left the vice presidency, after having made millions, probably
from his book,
made
150, 700 million, say 800, anything short of $1 billion is going to sound like chump change.
30 million, the family did while he was vice president.
Oh, the family did. That's not fair. That's spread out over a lot of different people. And so they made $30 million. They took 1.5 billion out of China, 1.5 billion out of Mexico, 20 million out of Ukraine/Russia, and they only made 30 million out of 2.6 billion.
That's how he afforded, 5 homes on a senator's salary.
No, it was the books actually, and he's only got 2.
So
hold on, maybe he's got 5 homes. Let's see. How many homes does Joe Biden own? Let's see. When is this? This is 2021. Okay. How many houses does Joe Biden own? Biden owns 2 homes in his home state of Delaware, where his family moved when he was a 13 22-year-old boy. However, he previously owned another home, which he purchased after the death of his first wife, Nelia, and daughter, Naomi. Biden's wife and daughter died in a car accident in 1972. According to Home and Gardens, in 1974, Biden bought his first home, a former DuPont mansion in Greenville, Delaware, for $185,000. It was nicknamed The Station and was his home with his second wife, Jill, who he married in 1975, and was the headquarters for his first presidential run in 1988. The house was sold in 1996 for $1.2 million, though Redfin estimates the home is more likely worth $1.6 now. Wilmington, Delaware. The same year their house was sold, the Bidens bought a new home in Wilmington, a suburb in Greenville, Delaware. They bought their home for $350,000, but it is now estimated to be worth $1.4 million. It's interesting how Biden makes more money on his real estate investments than Trump does. Did anybody notice that? When his son Beau was diagnosed with brain cancer, he considered selling the property in order to help support his son. However, as he told CNN in 2016, Obama implored him not to sell the house, instead offering to give Biden the money so he could remain at his home. As a result, the Biden family still own their Wilmington estate, which has a cottage on it, which has been rented out at times. In the summer of 2017, according to Fox News, the Bidens bought a $2.7 million house in Rehoboth, Delaware, near the seaside, which is their dream come true for the family. In a statement released at the time, reported by the Cape Gazette, Biden said, "Throughout our careers, Jill and I have dreamed of being able to buy a place at the beach at a home where we can bring the whole family. We feel very lucky we're now able to make that happen and looking forward to spending time with our family in a place that matters most of us in the world." The home has 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms and overlooks the seashore. In the same year the second home was bought, Biden's rented a 5-bedroom property in McLean, Virginia, where former First Lady Jackie Kennedy grew up. They rented her during the time in which Jill Lady was a full-time professor. They rented her home during the time? All right. So they own a house, and then they rent another one. Is the idea that is Rudy is he basically saying that they own everyone else's house? Like if the family owns a house, is really
After he left, the Chinese wanted to really wrap him up. And this operation I'm going to describe to you, and you might not see it at first, this is an intelligence operation.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's slick as shit. And it's interesting how probably the creation of the AUKUS agreement between the U.S., Australia, and the U.K. to provide Australia with nuclear-powered submarine technology to act as a bulwark against the Chinese military expansion in the South China Seas. That's probably part of the rope-a-dope.
There's a letter here in December 14th of 2010, and I mentioned this to you because it can become relevant later.
I hope so. So far, the rest of the shit hasn't.
It's from Sean McGarvey to Robert Biden. And
Sean McGarvey, male prostitute.
Describes Joe Biden as the
We're just going to go to the first cigar segment. How about that?
Big guy. You're going to see why that's relevant in a minute. But this goes back to 2010. And then there's another document here in...
You mean the photo copy of a screen of an email on a screen that you have printed out strictly so that the existence of the metadata does not factor into it as a piece of evidence. Fuck you. Look at what he's looking at. Hold it up. Hold it up, you prick. Oh, God, this I know I'm a nerd about this, but this is so aggravating.
From a friend of Hunter's who says, big night in Leipzig. The big guy made them happy. And right below, there's an indication that Vice President Joe Biden stopped off to say hello and serve dinner at the Leipzig Fire Hall. So the big guy is Joe Biden.
Yeah, see that? That is a screenshot using a camera of a laptop screen saved into a file. Get fucked. I mean, it's not even a fucking printout of the actual email. Why the fuck would anyone take this kind of shit? Believe me, if this kind of stuff was the evidence that Democrats had against Trump, like if Letitia James came after Trump saying, I have photographs of digital screens of his accounting books, and that's proof enough for me, and we got him from a Lithuanian casino owner, get the fuck out of here.
I want you to remember that.
Yeah, I'm going to remember you're an asshole.
That's his nickname. The big guy is Joe Biden. December 2nd, 2014. Here are the documents that put together Bohai Harvest. And Bohai Harvest is the company that was formed with the four partners that I mentioned to you. Hunter, Chris Hines, Whitey Bulge's nephew, and the government of China. Just in case, you think we kind of made that up here.
Yeah, again, look at the shine on the bottom of that. It's a fucking picture.
It's the document in the hard drive that the American...
And it's not in a by the way, in the hard drive, motherfucker. Like, he even slips sometimes. You're supposed to say laptop, stupid. If everybody knows you bought this this claptrap hard drive from Russians in Ukraine, the whole messaging falls apart. You have to say laptop all the time or shut the fuck up. And just having a hard drive named laptop does not qualify.
American media and American big tech doesn't want you to see.
No, we don't give a fuck if people see it. You do. The only person who had this hard drive during the time in the lead up to the 2020 election, allegedly, was Rudy Giuliani. And he was sending printouts like this to media to try and get them to print it sight unseen. And they were like, let us see the hard drive. Let us see the laptop itself. And he's like, I've got a copy of a copy of a copy. And they're like, well, let us see that so we can at least have a forensic audit on it. The Washington Post finally did. And what was their response? It's a forensic nightmare. Files were added after it was dropped off at the repair shop. Even to the hard drive that was copied at the time.
But you can see it during my podcast, and then you can examine it on my website. It exists, it's real, it's authentic, and it's disgraceful.
Okay, hold on one second. Rudy Giuliani cc.com, I think is the... Nope. Rudy's Common Sense. Where's the actual... Yeah, okay. Here we go. Okay. Biden organization exposed to Hunter Biden laptop. This is the video we're watching. Old video of him being a dickhead. There he is with, oh wow. Rudy Giuliani suspended for practicing law. That's him and Greg Kelly. They even let Greg Kelly use the big boy desk. Where's the evidence? I mean, is it up here? Hold on. 2020, okay. 20 podcast, Rudy's Alert, media. Is it media? No. Is it statements? What do you think? Not speeches and awards, that's for fuck sure. Is he selling it? Is it in the shop? Where this is the website. Maybe okay, let's go to this one. Can you go to no? If I click on
this is Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, no, if I click it, it just goes there. It's just embedded. Where the fuck? Honest to God, am I missing something? You guys are seeing this. Where's the evidence page? Is it Rudy's Alert? Maybe that's it. Rudy's alert. This is, nope. Just media files. Op-eds. Statements? Nope. All right. Where the fuck is it? He'll email me a copy. I'm serious. Like, where the fuck is this? Where is it supposed to be? Insight, listen to Rudy's comment. Join our mailing. I'm going through latest common sense. These are the 2 episodes. This is his contact thing. What Rudy is saying. These are the individual conversations. I don't know, articles or some shit. Then recent media. Is it clear? Read the latest op-eds. Listen to Rudy's thing. Read the op-eds. And then there's no footer. There's not even a, look at the footer. It's like basically nothing. They haven't even updated the copyright since 2020. Fuck you. Where is it? Where is that? Where can I download that?
That the son of the vice president was a partner with the government of China when he was supposed to be negotiating for us and failing. The next,
I'm sorry. Was the Trump Chinese trade deal, was that turn out to be good? How'd phase 1 go? 1/3 of $30 billion on a 3-phase deal that they only got through phase 1 on, and then COVID. Apparently, he got suckered into that deal. You know, you do realize that Trump actually thinks that China attacked us with the fucking virus.
Document in chronological order.
While they were making a deal with him to buy America's pork suppliers.
Shows that as they were putting these 2 deals together, the one while he was vice president and the one for later, so they could take care of him after he left the office.
Well, at that point, he might actually be running for president, so he would be stiff-arming it.
Here's a letter from James Giuliani, who is one of the partners in the company that they're going to form with the Chinese communists.
Going to?
And he points out to Jim Biden that he wants to make sure. He says, I have asked Joe to look over the documents. Just so you understand that Joe is a material part of this, which is completely contrary to his 8-year lie that he had no involvement in these foreign businesses.
Yeah, I mean, who can't read that? You guys can read that, right? You read that. You know, anybody need to see that again? I don't.
I have asked Joe to look over the doc. Just in case...
here we go. Another fucking picture of a screen of an email on a computer.
Copy of it, a little easier to see. Let's take a short...
Oh, eat me. What the hell? Let's take a short break. Fuck, God damn it. Patriot Mobile.
Get back into these incriminating documents.
There aren't any. They're pictures of emails of pictures.
They really are powerful.
No, they're not.
And then we get to the negotiations of this agreement. Here is a message. Looks like a screenshot of a message.
Oh God! It's the stupid Burns. I think I want to go back to the weird Wiccan lady on Michael Lindell's network. She made more sense.
And it comes from the Chinese. And Hunter responds to...
Does it say Chinese at Chinese.com?
To them, everything. We can do everything. The only thing I told him I would not do is defense-related technology and arms. And anything that would give the Chinese a military advantage. By the way,
wink, wink. I'm just kidding.
They didn't stick to that. They did do deals involving defense and where Chinese had an advantage.
Such as?
And here is another letter.
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw that, right? I don't need to roll back.
April 18, 2017, talking about a report to the director of the company, the Chinese communists who owned The name of the company they're negotiating with is CEFC.
Yeah, this is the same shit from 2 fucking years ago. Asked and answered.
It's a Chinese major energy company.
Yes, this is their January 6th answer. You're absolutely right, Webby Lobo. This is what this is about. Like they just got to throw as much Hunter Biden shit against the wall as they possibly can.
Run by 2 intelligence operatives that may in fact be a front for Chinese intelligence operations. And here,
you don't know for sure after 2 fucking years?
There's a letter again to James Biden explaining that this has been all, the deal has been now cleared with Director Zhang, who's the number 2 guy in CEFC. And he says, please convey his greetings to the B family. Their support is the base of CEFC's further development. But when they say the B family and their support is the base of further development, you know they're talking about the big guy, Joe Biden, who they're trying to wrap up on the chance that he's going to become president, and they can compromise him.
And apparently it failed miserably.
That's what these people do for a living. That's why I said they're...
Well, I think they should be fired, honestly, because it's the shittiest compromise I've ever seen.
Intelligence operatives. Not
At least the Russians got naked pictures.
Just businessmen. And here's the killer document. The document that, should put Joe in jail. This is the real deal, as that limited mentality senator and vice president would describe it. This is the real deal. This is the real partners. The real partners are the 3 Chinese communists, Xi Jinping, Stanley Ho, and Guang Wendong. Those are the 3.
He got through the names.
3 Chinese communists. On the other side, the partners are James Biden, James Biden's wife, brother and sister-in-law, and Hunter Biden.
So that would be the Biden family is James Biden's family.
That'll be on the official contract. But here's the underlying document. The underlying document says 20% for Hunter, 20% for James,
10% for the big guy,
10% for the wife, 20% for Gilliard's,
Gilligan. It's pronounced Gilligan. And the skipper is the big guy.
20% for Bobolinsky.
Who's still mad because he didn't get that money.
And then, in addition to Hunter's 20%, Hunter gets another 10%. And it says 10 held by H for the big guy. Now, you don't...
I thought for a while that Kate McKinnon's impersonation of Rudy Giuliani was a little over the top when she would do the weird kind of, ow. I take it back. The woman is a genius, as she has always been.
You don't have to figure out who the big guy is, because in the prior documents...
I'm sorry, those aren't documents, dummy.
We already identified the big guy.
No, you reverse engineer the big guy slang to apply to him.
I know the New York Times and the Washington Post and the NBC and ABC and all these big tech companies, they can't figure out who could the big guy be? Gee, it couldn't be my friend Joe Biden.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine this man sitting alone in a restaurant reading this shit out loud to himself?
Couldn't be that he's a crook and getting 10% from the Chinese communists. Couldn't be. Except if they would ever take a look at the hard drive, they would see that 2 documents here identify him as the big guy.
They've seen the hard drive, dummy.
And just in case, one of the partners has turned state's evidence, as they say, and has given an affidavit to the FBI that many, many times in his presence, Hunter referred to his father as the big guy, that Joe Biden was a material part of this transaction, that Joe Biden got money from this transaction.
Someone's very upset that Trump didn't pay them for their legal services.
And that Joe Biden actually got a lot more than 10%. And you're going to see how in just a few minutes.
Well, I'm beginning to think that Joe Biden should have written Art of the Deal at this point.
Then we have...
Soon after this, Rudy got chest pains. I want to say this was like before, unless they stored this one and they've just released it while he's recovering. That might be a point. He might have pre-taped this.
The backup document. So this is now May 17th, 2017. And Tony checks that my partner...
And we know this because we have pictures of text bubbles.
...will be partners with the Bidens.
The Bidens would be the James Biden and his wife, and that's plural Bidens.
Now listen to this one.
All right, I'm listening.
He has made clear that the number one has made clear that everything will be available to him. Who's number one?
PP tape. Trump.
Who's the number one?
I am. Oh, no, this isn't about me.
Oh, I guess we'll have to guess at that. I mean, we can't figure out that that's Joe Biden, I guess. That the big guy is also referred to as number one. But
well, I think it might actually be the primary investor in the Chinese side of things would be getting the largest part of that deal, right?
In case you have problems with that.
I have problems with all of it because this is paper, fucko, on allegedly digital items.
Shortly there,
and you're holding them up like, look right here. There's a note right here. This it clear as fucking day. You see this? And then of course there's if you see right here, this is there's a picture here. There you can clearly see this the Oval Office, and if you hold it up right, like I mean, what more evidence do you need?
After they give out the keys to the office. And the number one key goes to Joe Biden, and the number two key goes to Jill Biden for a business that he has no involvement in?
No, the office space they had was something that they were going to share, and the business itself was going to get mail there, I think. But they had a charity they were running out of that building.
Or is it a business in which he's getting at least 10% of the millions and millions?
Well, I don't know, because I'm going to need to see a car elevator or something, or an island property that we haven't heard of yet.
Are going to be made with
Where the fuck is this money going? The dude's house cost $2.7 million.
Chinese. I think he's number one. What do you think?
I think you're holding up fucking pictures of screens again.
Think a jury convict?
And by the way, I do think Joe Biden is number one, and I'm going to vote for him again.
Based on it, I think so. And now, just in case, they're having a discussion between business associate Robert Walker and with Tony Bobulinski. When he said his chairman, he was talking about his dad. And I think your dismissal of it maybe offended him a bit, but you didn't know what he was talking about. Let it go till the morning if we can. Makes clear he's the chairman of this operation.
Yeah, I mean, that's settled.
Another document.
Yeah, Lenny Bababooey, right, wrote that one.
To that effect, this one is dated in 2017, May 19th, 2017.
Sir, would you like a menu? Your date seems to have gotten up and left.
And then one that is highly incriminating.
Uh-oh.
This one...
Finally, something hot. Let's do it. Something new. I
would say would be, along with the 10%, hidden 10%, these would be critical to convicting him in front of a jury.
Ugh.
This is James Gilliar.
Gilligan.
Warning.
Little buddy.
Tony Bobulinski. Don't mention...
excuse me. It's Tony Bababooey.
Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know that, but they are paranoid. That's on May 20th, 2017. So they're going to lie and hide.
Yes, and they conveniently wrote that down to eliminate the reasoning in the scandal that they are manufacturing as to why there are no other actual ties between Biden and that it all happened verbally.
Fact that...
Was Carter Page involved?
Joe Biden is the chairman, the big guy,
He's a number one. Y'all the Duke. Y'all the Duke. Yay, number one.
Getting at least 10% of the 10
Call me Snake.
million, 10 million, 10 million, $30 million. At least. Why are they going to hide it? That's called evidence of criminal intent.
Well, I'd need to know that they actually got the money.
Because they're committing a crime.
Oh, God, this is so fucking lame.
That's where they're going to hide it. And then we have a document in June in which Hunter is very angry at Tony because Tony is, I can't even read these words. These are bad words, but he's very angry at Tony because
we just saw your testimony in front of the January 6th committee. Don't act like you don't swear.
Because Tony appears to be worried that Hunter may be stealing money from the other partners.
Oh, I'll just take your word for it then. Yeah, I got a card somebody handed to me right now. Rudy Giuliani was seen in a parking lot with a shovel and a lethargic hooker who seemed to be in medical distress. We heard a clang from the shovel, and then he started screaming for the tarp. Somebody just wrote that on this card. You guys, if you want to see it, it's on my website.
You're going to find that the Bidens aren't even honorable thieves among other thieves. I mean, they're just a thoroughly dishonorable family. Here's the breakdown. Can't tell you for sure whose handwriting it's in.
How do I get sucked into these things? How the fuck? Not honestly. What? We're watching an old man leaf through photographs of emails taken from pictures on computer screens that are allegedly on a hard drive he's in possession of that he could simply fucking print out, and text messages where there's no fucking reason why they would exist on the computer as it had been transferred over. That were basically just mixed in from what? Hacked phone messages? Oh, God.
But it's in the hard drive.
No, it isn't.
There's a little sketch on August 1st, 2017 of the company they're about to form.
That's it?
See, there's the chair.
The little box to heal, and then the box have a box. Hold on. And I have a box of a box. Hold on. I don't know why I'm over here. I'm over here. They draw a picture on the box and the picture. Hey, everybody, how you doing today? Oh, yeah. What's on the thing? What the draw? He made a drawing of the thing. That's a good. They'll make a good drawing. They'll make a good drawing.
Chairman on this side is Mr. Yi Jinping.
That's not easy to say, but write down, okay?
Who is a high-level member of the Chinese Communist Party.
That's why he gets his own box.
Chinese intelligence operative.
Yeah, but they don't know that at the time, or he wouldn't be very good Chinese intelligence operative.
Oh, and by the way, to get an idea, he's also a member of organized crime. Mr. Yi.
Well, they were not good to be. Don't do disorganized crime because you leave your toys all over the place, and that's how you get busted.
Xi Jinping could not testify at this trial because he's now sitting below the Yangtze River, way down near the bottom. He kind of disappeared like a lot of the people the Bidens did business with.
Oh, so they're basically like like acquaintance or friends of Jeff Epstein.
Mr. Ho.
Watch your mouth. They're nice people watching, right? We're in mixed company.
Is in federal prison, so he could stand trial. And Mr. Dong is fully available to get arrested and
I beg your pardon.
Go to trial. He lives here in Long Island. And then all the Bidens, could go to trial for this fraud that they were involved in.
That's not a fraud. That's a piece of paper with 6 boxes on it from a drawing on a piece of yellow legal pad that someone took a picture of, put on a computer monitor, and someone took a picture of that computer monitor, and then you made a photocopy and the scan of it, and then printed the third one.
So 50%.
So I guess you're right. I guess it's a fraud.
For the Chinese communists.
That's right.
50% for the Bidens, Gillier, and Bobulinski.
The Gilligan.
And the name of the
and Baba Booey
company is Hudson.
Look at that. That's a good drawing. I did that drawing. I did that myself. That's my thing. He found I would make a box. I'd see him like that. I was trying to. My dad was doing fantasy football, so I decided to make a politics fan football box that got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. There's a box on that piece of paper for every one of your amendments leading up to the 5th Amendment.
In West. Very nice name for the company. Here is the deal sheet.
That looks like a contract to me. Doesn't look at all like when my grandmother types a recipe.
This is the phony deal sheet.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains the booger on the back of it. Why is the booger on the back? What did the booger on the back of it? You wipe the booger. Rudy, there's a booger on your paper and it came from your nose. There's a booger on your paper and it came from your nose. There's a booger on your paper and it came from your nose, which is better than the jam from your toes, toes, toes. There's a booger on your paper. Your nose, nose, nose. There's a booger on your paper from your nose, your nose. Your booger on your paper from your nose, nose, nose. That it's better than the jam from your toes, toes, toes.
Only in the sense that Joe...
That's gross. I'm gonna vomit. I'm gonna throw up. That's nasty. You got booger on with paper. Wash your hands, you nasty man. That's nasty.
His name is left.
You guys don't think it's nasty? It's nasty.
Out of it. You gotta go get the hidden memo.
You gotta look at the hidden booger. You gotta clean the booger off your paper. That's so nasty. You gotta get booger on my rattle. Keep your booger away from my rattle, you nasty man. That's making me cry. Get the booger away from me. It's nasty.
To figure out that Joe's part of it. And you can't mention Joe.
You can't mention the booger on your paper.
You can't mention Joe because it's a crime.
You can't. Joe. Then I get arrested? Well, I'm a minor. It's probably okay.
That's why you can't mention it. And this basically...
Don't mention it.
...just outlines a deal. It's going to be consulting fees of $10 million per year. Fabulous. To the Biden group.
The Biden group. Okay. To consult. What, they stop consulting? They still get the money? That'd be a good deal.
For a total of $30 million. And then
they can wipe all the boogers everywhere because they can afford someone to come clean them up. You can have a booger maid. Rudy's just jealous because he can't afford booger maid.
Once they make a profit.
In all fairness, I won't be mean. It might be Andrew's boogie. Because he's probably upset because he lost. He wanted to run for governor. And he probably wipe a booger on his dad, think he's mad.
50-50 split.
So I thought it was 10%.
50% for the Bidens, 50% for the Chinese communists. Of which, remember, Joe gets 10% of that.
So they're making 110%? These guys are genius.
As well. And then there are very, very detailed instructions of how it's going to be carried out. And you cannot, if you go through this, because I guess this is a public document, you can't find Joe in here.
You know what I can't find? A booger. I couldn't find Joe Biden, but I found one of your boogers, and it's bigger than I thought. It's got like texture. It's not just like a booger stain. That's like an actual. That's like got some weight to it. It contributes to the overall weight of the document. Like if you weigh those pages by themselves on a little scale, and you weigh this pile would weigh significantly more than the other pile.
He's the
person not involved in the whole thing.
chairman. He's the big guy.
And yet, he's not involved at all. I'm beginning to understand why this business did not actually go forward.
He gets 10%, but we can't find his name in here. And everybody's been instructed not to mention Joe's name.
Booger. Oh, yo, Booger.
We'll be back in a short while. Think your homeowner's insurance covers home title fraud?
No, I don't think that. But I don't care. We got to skip ahead. This is not good. Go away. Had that though. There we go. Oh my gosh. He looked like he got a stinky. All right, here you go.
A little side deal.
There's a side deal. You didn't explain the real deal.
The Bidens go behind the back of their partners, Gilliers and Bobulinski,
and wipe a booger on the back.
And
oh, he got the booger. Did you guys see that? He got the booger. Wait, watch this. I'm gonna back up. Watch. He notices the booger. He gets rid of the booger. Watch. Oh, this is gross. I'm gonna vomit.
Then the Bidens do a little side deal. The Bidens go behind the back of their partners, Gilliers and
pick up a booger, and he dropped the booger on the floor. Did the booger on the floor now? Where did it go to booger? That's so nasty. He just now he's reading and rolling a booger. And I'm the baby?
Interest-free,
still rolling the booger.
Forgivable $10 million loan.
No one shake hands with that man. He's still rolling a booger. He's under the desk. You know he's doing this. He got the booger and he's doing this.
Interest-free.
Just drop it. Just drop a booger.
Forgivable $10 million loan. I mean, that's the way you launder money.
That's too much. You're committing to the booger too much.
And
I still got the booger.
There's an official document.
Okay, got it. I'm going to throw up.
July 26, 2017. It shows that the Chinese energy company CEFC proposed at first a $5 billion interest-free loan to the Biden family based on their trust in the Biden family.
That seemed nice. They seem lovely.
It's not to Hunter. It's to the Biden family.
Yeah, because Jane Biden and their wife and Hunter part of it. So they're multiple members of the same group who are related, therefore all family.
And then you have an actual transfer of 4.8 million of it.
That's a lot less. That's like 1%. That's less than 1%.
On August 8, 2017. And according to the 10% document, that would entitle Joe to a minimum of $480,000 when that transfer was made. And here are all the wire instructions and the transfer. People keep wondering, did Joe get any money? Yeah.
Well, let's see it. Where to get it? I mean, I know you got a booger on your floor. Let me see the money. Show me the money.
Money. New York Times just lies about it.
Oh, okay. Well, but you can fix that. You can just tell us. It's written right there. You got to show us.
They lie about everything. So, 4.8 million forgivable loan. And that's what really causes the break with Bobulinski and Gilliers, because they're not told about this. This money was supposed to go to the company, but Hunter grabbed it for himself because Hunter steals from his partners as well as takes bribes for his father.
Then how do we know? I don't understand. I thought you were going to show the wire things. Hold on. DEFT, Biden, Hunter. What do it like it? DOJ looking at okay. My story. So inside Mama die. Washington Post. Here's it go. Inside, this is a story with the thing. Okay. Inside Hunter Biden, multi-million-dollar deal with Chinese energy company. Reviewed to confirm key details of new documentation by interaction with Chinese executives. Deal was years in the making. Combination of forging contract, hosting dinners, flight to and from China. But on 2017, signatures was quickly affixed. One from Hunt Biden, other from Gong Wen Dong. Within days, new Cathay Bank account created within $1 million change hands. Within a year, all go away. But billions of dollars. While many aspects of Hunter Biden's financial agreement with CFC, the previous report will include a 2020 report. Washington Post review confirmed many key details. Found additional documents show families that over the course of 14 months, entity executive paid $4.8 million to entity controlled by. That's not the same thing. Just entity controlled by. And his uncle, according to Government Record, cold document newly disclosed bank statement, as well as emails contained on a copy of a laptop hard drive that purportedly once belonged to Hunter Biden. Well, that's all I need. The Post did not find evidence that Joe Biden personally benefited from or new details about transactions took place after he left vice presidency and before he announced for 2020. But new documents include a signed copy of $1 million retainer, emails, wire transfer, $3.8 million consulting fees will confirm, and new bank records and agreements signed by Hunter Biden. Illustrate the ways in which family profit from relationship, decades of service. Cathay Bank of Hudson West, $1 million. Subtract $6,600 to $950 that for wire costs. Overseas work subject of heightened scrutiny, federal blah blah blah. Potential conflict of interest, CFC the most lucrative. After the New York Post began publishing reports of contents laptop, repeatedly asked Giuliani and banned them for copied data, but the request was rebuffed or ignored. Why they not do it? Probably because the copy of the hard drive they had a booger in the jack where the USB thing goes. I did that one to my dad's laptop, couldn't plug anything in. In June 2020, copy provided post by Jack Maxey. Oh, that's to do with the copy of the copy of the copy. An activist who received copy from him in a time when Maxey was working with Bannon on there. Post is poor chain of custody, as well as findings forensic analysis in a separate story where it all turned out to be bullshit. Yeah, we talk about. There's a point in it where he says something about $1 million retainer issued part of agreement to represent Patrick Ho. Retainer agreement newly uncovered document contains signature of Hunter Biden and Ho. Later convicted, sentenced to 3 years in prison. Biden, the law degree, not accused of wrongdoing in this scheme, appeared to have little representing Ho in federal case. Ho, through his attorney, declined comment. Hunter Biden not respond. White House declined, did not respond. Never been considered involved, but not overseas. Biden did talk about it in a book. I was in throes of addiction. Outstanding debts, shocking and overwhelming for his debts at house. Intermediary CFC initially reached out Biden in 15, the meeting, said no. Then it could go to wealthiest businessman, born him head young, dynamic, top-level connections. Unable to attend dinner, and he said in an email post he knew most been not involved in the mutual introduction. Okay, didn't go there. CFC ties government, Hunter Biden involved for him. Shortly after Joe Biden left presidency, Hunter Biden met over dinner. That's why he gave him a diamond. 40 million, yeah. Discuss $40 million joint venture produced liquefied natural gas in Louisiana, based on extensive interviews with the Hunter Biden from this, and that deal didn't happen. But he liked him, so he sent him a diamond. And divorces, Hunter Biden claimed the diamond was worth $80,000. Hunter Biden told it was close to 10. Gave the diamond to his associates. Doesn't know what they did with it. Probably a hookah. You would foreshadow something. Then Hudson let's go. Don't go win and Hunter Biden. Oh, that's where they lifted his signature from, put in the thing. Flow immediately, money come in, and then no go away. And then, what does it say? After expense, bulk of money, 4-point enigma, directed 14 months, used in increment to 165. Hunt Biden. The document showed during time period 1.4 was transferred Hunter Biden account with Lionel. Comments said Biden ran court government. No comment. James Biden said reached out cell phone. Red flags, and then it go, and then apart. When did it fall apart? Please have key made. That. Oh, I'm sorry. Please have key made. What's the part we saw? Spokesperson Swedish overthought. I recall talking about possible space, so-called Sweden never on a list. Hunter Biden confirms. Okay. James Biden's respond detailed questions. The question. Things fall apart quickly. Ho's in jail waiting trial. Yi, head of CFC, has been detained in China and hadn't been heard from since. Reason for arrest unclear, though Reuters reported it was related to suspected economic crimes. Yi not reached for comment. Chinese embassy declined to comment. 2018, uncle seeking access to $1 million retainer Hunter owed for the whole reputation. James Biden wrote CFC with wiring instructions and provided address. Didn't go through. Receive and we'll take care of ASAP. Wrote back next morning, wired through with deposited account. James Biden with the routing number. How about exchange hostile? Hunter Biden began explaining hostile messages will remain executive, including Dong and Mervyn Yan. Tua questioned several Hunter Biden's expenses, asked for receipts, backup charges. Hunter Biden threatened to sue Yan and Dong for balking at paying, claiming they had no right to question expensive, explaining the House of Sweden and it was his D.C.-based office. I will bring suit in Chancery Court in Delaware, which you know is my home state. I have privilege to work with every judge in the Chancery Court. You cannot sue us for not paying incorrect expenses. But Hunter Biden said, take whatever money you can take as long as the money is available to claim. Take as much as possible. Figure out a way to spend them for your own benefit, she wrote. Jachi Bao, his sister, said this. Hunter Biden continued by addiction. Yan signed document dissolving Hudson West in 2018. It lasted 14 months.
Also, Hunter negotiates a separate little deal for himself.
Himself? His voice higher than mine.
This little deal...
This little deal is go round and round. This little deal go round.
Actually, he's not only going to not tell his outside partners about... He doesn't tell his family about this one.
Oh, so it's not a big... So, how does a mob work?
There's a little note here. Send this to me directly. So, Hunter is a member of a law firm. Hunter defrauds the law firm out of this fee. He defrauds the business out of this fee. And he gets $1 million separate just from CEFC for him on September 22nd, 2017. Nice guy, right?
So the big guy didn't get any of it.
Not even honor among thieves.
So he kept his... So he said 10% for a big guy and kept it for himself. Because he's not doing bad things.
I mean, I prosecuted some mafia guys that were more honorable than this. They wouldn't cheat each other. Because they would kill each other if they found out, but...
Yeah, but what's the difference? Cheating, killing. Do we really know the difference? Not me. I have to come back. I'm going to end up like my tongue gets swollen doing baby health for very long. Because I'm talking like that all the time.
I mean, you're going to find out that this family is really, really a wretched family.
What the fuck are you talking about? The other guy set money up. If the money was there at all, which is not listed in any of this shit, you just made up, there's 50% for this person, 50% to this person, and 10% on top of that never gets written out, but apparently exists in your fucking brain. And then Hunter Biden apparently doesn't give it to his dad in the end.
Now, let's make it easy to figure out what this deal has been for the last 30 years.
Jesus Christ. You're going to start now?
For all these transactions and everything else. And this is now dated January 3rd, 2019. And I'm going to read this to you and really want you to look at
a week before the laptop gets dropped off.
This a lot. Because this is, there are two documents that explain everything you need to know about them.
And you're saving them till now? Fuck, man. If these are the whole, like, you had to give dad half your money... You know,
this document says, I love all of you, but I don't.
Oh, motherfucker. That's the same one. Every fucking time. Literally hundreds of gigabytes of stuff. And this is, it's fucking July of 2022, and this prick is reading these thought bubble copies of messages from this fucking hard drive.
Receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess.
It's the same shit.
Works for you, apparently.
Fuck you. This is not the smoking gun, dummy.
He's writing to his daughter, Naomi Biden.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't. You're reading from photocopied message bubbles. Look at the fucking... Oh, God damn it.
January 3rd, 2019 at 7:39 p.m. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family.
Which is exactly how a bagman talks.
For 30 years.
That's how the bagman talks. That's how the mafia don talks. By the way, when he's being assassinated by the members of his own gang.
It's really hard.
Why would it be really hard? Why would he have to pay for everything if the big guy's getting $30 million over this fucking time?
But don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary. There's the formula.
No, it isn't. That's not a formula. Half of his salary isn't the 10% for the big guy. They're adding it on as an addendum in theory and that other bullshit.
The money doesn't go directly to Joe.
Oh, God.
The money goes to Hunter, or it goes to James, or it goes to Sarah. Half of it ultimately goes to Joe. Whether directly or indirectly, it goes to Joe, or it's in Joe's name. And that's how Joe was able to buy 5 houses.
One house and rent another.
On the salary of a senator.
This is so fucking stupid.
You know, Harry Truman used to say, you can always...
Do you have a photocopy of a iMessage that proves Truman said this?
Always figure out who the crooked politicians are. Real simple. People who start off in government poor and end up rich.
Yeah, because there was no $1 million political book industry back then.
And the richer they are, the bigger they are a crook. That was...
Trump made money in the White House. Oh, you mean Ivanka and Jared?
Good old Democrat Harry Truman, who just had plain old common sense. Well, Joe Biden started off with... And he ended up with millions and millions and millions of dollars. Just during the vice presidency, about 30.
No. Hold on. Let's look at his, besides his book sales and other stuff, but hold on. Joe Biden net worth. Let's just grab what the whole thing is. Okay, here you go. Let's see his total. This is, how much is President Joe Biden worth? This is from what is this? GoBankingRates.com. Let's see, November 20th, after elected, born in 1942, same age as my mom, by the way. Net worth $9 million from book deals and speaking fees. Let's see. Along with his wife, Jill Biden's wealth includes Delaware homes valued at $4 million, combined cash and investments worth an additional $4 million, and a federal pension worth over $1 million. Although Biden has made steady income as a politician, the majority of his wealth has come from book deals and speaking fees. Biden's starting salary in the Senate was $42,000 in 1979. When he left the Senate in 2009, he was making $169,000 as vice president. His salary topped $230,000. He'll be earning $400,000 as president. Biden's first memoir, Promises to Keep, earned him $71,000 in royalties and $9,500 for audiobook rights in the time of its publication in 2008. But that's chump change compared to what he earned since leaving the White House. From 2017 to 2019, Biden's earned more than $50 million, according to tax records filings reviewed by Forbes. That includes reportedly $8 million book deal $1.8 million from book tour events, $2.4 million in speaking fees, and $775,000 from the University of Pennsylvania to lead the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement and the Benjamin Franklin Presidential Professor of Practice as the Benjamin Franklin Presidential Professor of Practice. Biden's elected to the Senate in 72 during his time, blah, blah, blah. Some political highlights. Okay. Yeah. So $9 million net worth.
Isn't that disgraceful?
It's gibberish.
And isn't it disgraceful he's being given immunity for that? So just go over.
Just look at my photocopied bullshit.
Over this, read it.
Where?
Digest it.
Where?
This didn't come from Russia.
No, it came from Ukraine, from Russia through Ukraine.
This wasn't written by a Russian. This was written by Hunter Biden to his daughter. In the law, we call this an admission.
Of what? Family charity?
This would come into evidence in the trial.
Over what?
Of the Bidens.
For what?
For racketeering.
What kind of racket?
For all the many, many, many schemes in which they sold Joe Biden's office.
When he was out of office?
And the anticipatory sale of his office here in this transaction and the fraud involved.
The anticipatory. So they were selling his seat as president before he even ran, much less won.
Now, just to get an idea of who they deal with, these documents, which are screenshots.
Oh, really? Unlike the others? Motherfucker.
Tell you what happened to the number one guy in this company. So we'll put these screenshots up for you to see, and you'll see that.
What do you, when, where? You mean you'll hold them up and go, whoa?
The media, that China's CEF chairman is investigated. Then he's investigated for suspected bribery. And then Shanghai actually has to take over the Biden company, CEFC, for corruption. And then it turns out that his number...
Yeah, you saw that, right? You don't need to see that, right?
Number two guy, Patrick Ho. Patrick Ho gets arrested in the United States, and he's denied bail in a bribery case. And the first person he calls is James Biden, his partner.
And does he show up?
And these are bribes carried out to gain profit for their company.
Which is a front for the Chinese government, so why would they prosecute him if he was working for 3 Communist Party members?
So why isn't there a foreign corrupt practices?
Also, if these guys are being disappeared while doing business with the Bidens, wouldn't it be that if there was any political pressure internally in China from the government on this, wouldn't it be that they were actually working with the Bidens against China? Wouldn't this be evidence that these guys doing business with China was not on behalf of China, but in spite of what the CCP would want, and therefore they were prosecuted, persecuted, or disappeared because of it?
Exact investigation of the Bidens. The FBI had this.
Right. Which would point to the direct logical conclusion from this evidence is that the Bidens were engaged in it with a company that they believed or was freelance or not linked to the Chinese government, or the people working in it that were supposedly linked to the Chinese government were not linked enough to the desires of the Chinese government. They didn't get what they wanted out of the Bidens, and those two guys got fucked.
You know why there isn't? Because the Bidens are immune from everything.
Huh. Well, then I'm glad Joe's president. That should help.
They don't get investigated like the Clintons.
Oh, you mean the bullshit? They don't have bullshit investigations following them all over the place?
And we got to figure out how that corruption seeped into the FBI and the Justice Department. But it's disgraceful.
Again, how do I call into this asshole show? The dude's recovering from a heart stent. I don't want to get his blood pressure up. But what is this nonsense? If Ho and this other dude got busted in China by the Chinese, it means they weren't playing the game of the CCP the way they were fucking supposed to. Ask Jack Ma. If they were in league with the Chinese government, unless you get prosecuted if you fail to carry out your mission, in which case, in both of these instances, the Bidens walk away scot-free.
And it is destroying our system of justice in this country. We've got two systems, one for the Clintons, the Bidens, and the Democrats, and then one for everybody else. And then one for Donald Trump, where he's investigated for things he didn't do.
No one has ever investigated him for being a good president.
And then the company is seized because of a bribery. That's their company. And here is a very chilling, very chilling note.
Very chilling.
Look
at the fucking, what's the quality of these fucking photocopies? That's purple because somebody took a picture of a computer screen and then printed the pictures from their phone.
From Devin Archer, Hunter's partner. This is from Devin Archer to Hunter. It's only partial, but
yeah, we don't need the whole thing, do we? Do you guys need half of a photograph of a screen of God knows what that we're never going to get to see? I mean, what more evidence do you need?
I'd say it's quite chilling. Complete cash. The Chinese have arrested and apparently fully stripped.
Complete cash?
And possibly already executed my partner. And I gave away my last 5,000. Goes on.
Your last 5,000? Again, how did these guys get this broke if they were buying influence with this?
To him.
That's Devin Archer saying that?
This discussing Xi Jinping. This is the kind of people they do business with. People.
Not anymore. Fucker's dead. Apparently, he crossed the Chinese government.
Who get executed.
By the Chinese government.
Put at the bottom of the Yangtze River.
Yes, which is not something you do that happens to you if the Chinese government likes you.
So, you want proof?
Yes. We're not going to have it. You only got 3 minutes left in this bullshit.
New York Times? You want proof? Twitter? You want proof?
Yes. Where is it? Where are these files? I looked on your website. They're not fucking there.
Facebook? You want proof? You corrupt, lying, whatever you are? Here's the proof.
It's not proof. It's photocopies of screenshots of faked garbage intermixed with real stuff so that some of the timeline works out, and yet because you know that nobody's going to talk about any of it because it looks awful and they want to stay away from it and it failed anyways, you can just mix in fake and real and just go, this is all just, if any of it's true, all of it's true.
I didn't write it. Russians didn't write it, and I didn't get the 30 million.
You paid $5 million for this, Rudy.
Your prince got it. The Prince of Darkness.
Ozzy?
Joe Biden.
Oh, see, I automatically go to Ozzy now that ever since Ronnie James Dio died.
The guy who used his son, a drug addict, to be his bagman.
No, bagman don't get to keep half.
Why do you
think
his son lost his teeth at 40 years old?
He didn't lose them. He had them shaved down and he got veneers put on.
Because under this kind of pressure.
Oh, is that what it was?
Working with murderers and organized criminals.
Yeah, I hear that hanging out with organized crime and criminals in general is bad for your health. Man who just got out of the hospital to get 2 stints.
Like Mykola Zoshevsky and Elena Buturina and Xi Jinping at the bottom of the river.
Again, where the fuck is the idea that this dude... And again, if he's a spy for the Chinese government and this whole thing failed, who's to say, A, that dude really existed and they weren't being catfished on a business level, and that they didn't just have the guy resume another position someplace else as a... as a spy, essentially.
And Whitey Bulger's nephew. What do you think happens to a drug addict, Dad? When you
Well, he got clean, actually.
put him in with people like that.
Well, Whitey Bulger's nephew isn't a crack salesman, dummy.
He becomes a much worse drug addict.
He didn't, though. He didn't.
He becomes a degenerate drug addict.
Is there a difference?
You couldn't find some bum in Washington to do this for you?
Well, I mean, Trump was busy.
You had to use your son and ruin his life?
Well, I mean...
And you want to be president of our country?
He already is.
My goodness, you should check in to the local federal prison and start doing your time. That's where you belong, not in the White House.
Well, I don't need to hear more. That sounds like a logical chain of events for the leader of the free world. Thanks, Rudy. Appreciate it. Thanks for breaking it down for us. Do you have any more photocopies of manufactured evidence that you can show us physically on your podcast? And by the way, this is available in audio form. That you could show us at some point.
You used your family to pick up your bribes, hide your bribes, live the life of a billionaire. And by the way,
well, I mean, for the record, Trump's the one living the life of a billionaire without actually being one.
I don't think you failed in all those negotiations just because you're stupid. I think you failed in those negotiations because you sold out the United States of America.
Dun, dun, dun! Rudy. To give him a little bit of Joe Biden. He's never gonna watch this. There's no way he's ever gonna see this. He doesn't give a fuck.
That's what I think you did.
If you thought.
And you were ready to do it again if we didn't catch you.
Catch him? He's the president of the United States, dummy.
This whole deal was done in anticipation of your being president.
Why would anybody think that Joe Biden would be on a rocket ship to the presidency at his age, considering the direction of the country, and during a fucking pandemic?
With the Chinese intelligence services. And I don't care if the liberal media covers up for you.
Well, they don't. They just don't have anything to show for it.
Some of them are just as corrupt as you are.
Oh, all right. Well, who runs that giant? Is Joe Biden? Does he convene a meeting of the five families? Is that how big tech and the media meet with the Bidens? You know, I've gathered here with you to divide up power. Can't do it, ladies and gentlemen.
And some of them are so taken with hatred, they can't see the better good of their country. They're willing to sell out our entire country just to get rid of Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, in their defense, he got rid of himself.
Joe?
He's not going to see this.
You've been a thief for 30 years.
Is that why Lindsey Graham likes him?
Your son says it right here.
No, he doesn't. He says he gave him half his salary. And that's fake anyways. But yes, the Bidenberg group. Oh my God, we have to have like the Bidenberg group would be a great sexy liberal sketch. I'm just saying.
Would be a tragedy for this country. Our system of justice would be ruined if you're not brought before the bar of justice and held accountable.
For what?
The way any ordinary American would be.
For what?
Until we fix that, we don't fix this country.
Oh, God. That's holy shit. The Biden Family Organization exposed through Hunter's laptop 2020, July 12th, 2022. 2 fucking years later. Connect with Rudy on Twitter. Where the fuck? Rudy alert, court finds Wisconsin. Called the White House because SP and others were arguing. Archie was the hero that night. Rudy Giuliani was going to agree with White House lawyers. He escorted Sidney Powell and others out. Once they were out, he and Mark Meadows were talking. What? The official what? Giuliani media? Mind you, notify the people about the contents of the laptop prior to the time. I was censored and lied about it. You have to watch this podcast. Hunter Biden Rumble. I watched it. Same shit, different day. I was almost impressed by what a blazing waste of time it was. Whoops. The booger moment was funny, though. Thanks for that. I think that's it covers it. The booger moment was funny, though. Thanks for that. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Texas love you. I love Texas. Yes, please, Rudy Giuliani for FBI, DOJ. He would not for the Dems, criminals, and rhinos. When you become FBI director, spies who lie, the intelligence experts who falsely accredited and still won't say they're sorry. No, they're still right. All those people are right. Okay, so okay. Yeah, this is the one, and no one is allowed to confirmed in the middle of the night, an empty inauguration, 20,000 troops protect him, and no one is able to question any part. Question it. They stormed the fucking building. Good Lord. Barr didn't investigate because Dems would release the plane manifest showing his brother on multiple trips to Epstein Island. Rudy Giuliani retweeted that. Hang on, I gotta get going, but let's jump into it. Sorry, Bill Barr brother Epstein Island. Is that one of the? Is that how they're? After John Joyce fan, Ghislaine Maxwell's brother blames Bill Barr for prosecution. Donald Barr, managing strategic off career. Bill Barr did not recuse him, will not recuse Jeffrey Epstein death, a perfect storm of screw-ups. Epstein co-conspirators should not rest easy, says A.G. Barr. The untold tale of young William Barr among the Manhattan, one damn thing after another. Bill Barr's self-serving Epstein thing. Where the fuck? I guess this did Bill Barr father mentor. That's his dad, right? Though William Barr should recuse himself of Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein is dead. Citation needed. Anyways, have the day closing the defendant. It's critical that the Justice Department conduct a thorough investigation into the circumstances of his death. But how is it handled so critical? Is also critical to the integrity of the DOJ, and that's why Barr should recuse himself. Epstein was charged in July by prosecutors at the SDNY with sex trafficking and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. They claimed he exploited and abused dozens of minors, with victims as young as 14, and was so focused on keeping his pipeline of victims flowing, he resorted to paying for some of them a fee to recruit more girls. Right, that's the story. 6 months before that, Florida plea deal. Although Barr did ultimately recuse from an investigation of the Florida case, he did not from the SDNY's case. This concerning additional law firms. Alex Costa, who served in Donald Trump's cabinet with Barr, was the U.S. attorney in Miami when Epstein received his travesty of a plea deal. Remember all this shit? There's so many awful moments in the Trump presidency. This was one of those things that just kind of lingers there. That that Alex Acosta was the guy who gave Epstein had this thing where he had to report to jail, and they gave him a key. Basically, he had let himself out. Bart's father was headmaster of elite New York City school that hired college dropout Epstein to teach math and physics to minors. Do these circumstances amount to a conflict of interest? Barr, apparently, after consulting with career ethics officials, the DOJ concluded they did not. I don't know what the brother reference is. But sure. John Solomon is an honest, talented, intelligent reporter featured by Giuliani podcast opposed to the 2020 election. Okay. Yeah, we've seen Solomon a couple times. He's the rounded dude in the other clip. Yeah, this dude. 2020 election illegalities and regulators exposed by John Solomon. We might have to cover that at some point if Mike Pillow doesn't act on his shit soon enough.